All right, good afternoon, Queensland. It's a very busy day today. We've been in Maryborough talking about increasing our vaccination rates in Wide Bay, and this afternoon we're in Townsville, and it's wonderful to be back in this beautiful city. And of course, we're talking very clearly about the need to lift our vaccination rates in regional Queensland. And it's wonderful to have the Treasurer with me, the Chief Health Officer, and of course Aaron and Les and the Mayor. And we're going to talk very strongly to you and urge you to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. We have 11 days left to go to get people vaccinated across Queensland, so you'll have your full immunity. And Townsville's been doing pretty well, but we need to do better. So at the moment we have in Townsville, the Townsville region, 68.1% have had their first dose and 56.7% have had both doses. Nearby, Ingham, 74.6% first dose. Ayr, Home Hill, 66.4%. We'd like to see that increase. Charters Towers, I'm concerned to the people living in Charters Towers and families there, 56% first dose. We really need the people of Charters Towers to come and get vaccinated. Heading out west, Hewenden, 75.9%. They're going very well. Cardwell, 46.8% first dose. We need the people of Cardwell to come out and get vaccinated. Magnetic Island, well done Magnetic Island, 82.6%, 82.7% first dose. And Palm Island, we really need the vaccination rates to increase on Palm Island. Palm Island at the moment is 36.4%, and we really need our First Nations people to come forward and get vaccinated. Well, today I'm very pleased to announce that we're going to have 7 new pop-up clinics here in Townsville. And that's about our big push to get more North Queenslanders vaccinated as quickly as possible. So currently we have this fantastic hub here taking around 600 people a day, but it can take thousands. So if you have not had your vaccination yet, it's very easy. And can I say, this one's air conditioned, so that's a bonus as well. Now, the additional pop-up clinics will be at Bowley TAFE campus, Sheriff Park, the Islamic Society, JBS Townsville Abattoir, Riverway, where's Aaron? Riverway. Yes. The Strand Night Market, so we're taking it out to the people as well. So the Strand Night Markets on the 5th of November from 5 till 9. And of course the Townsville Disaster Ready Day, the 7th of November, and that's 9 till 12. So we'll put all of those details out and about across social media, of course out across the media outlets here. Thank you for please promoting this. There is one key message: you must get vaccinated. If you get vaccinated, you will minimise your risk of getting severe illness. If you are unvaccinated, this virus, when it comes here, and let me assure you, the whole world has Delta at the moment, and when it comes here, if you are unvaccinated, you are more likely to end up very ill, sick, and even in ICU. And Dr. Young will talk to you about that. There's many cases where people are being admitted to ICU saying, give me the vaccine now, and it's too late to get the vaccine when you're at that stage of the disease. So please, North Queensland, come out and get vaccinated. We really need to lift your rates. We want that to be 80% double dosage, and of course on the 17th of December is when families want to be reunited. And I'm quite sure many people living here in Townsville will either want to go and see loved ones for Christmas down south, or their relatives, sons and daughters, friends and family will want to come and visit them in Townsville. The higher your vaccination rate, the easier it is going to be, the less impact it's going to have on our hospital system, but it really means that you are protecting yourself, protecting your community. And as I said very clearly down in Maryborough, Townsville knows how to prepare itself for natural disasters. I know you've been through floods and cyclones, but we can't save you if you're not on the lifeboat, and it's very, very important that if you're living in the north region of this state, to get vaccinated as quickly and safely as possible. So I'll hand over to the Chief Health Officer, and then we'll pass on to everyone else to say a few words. Thank you, Dr. Young.
So yes, North Queensland handles disasters brilliantly. I've been up here so many times over the last decade after you've had cyclones and awful floods, and you've always been prepared, and that's why you've got through and you've been able to recover. So this time, please do it again. Be prepared. Have the vaccination before the virus arrives in your community, because the problem with this is you've got to be prepared 5 weeks in advance of when the virus turns up. So we know 17th of December we'll be removing a lot of those restrictions, so people from elsewhere can come into Queensland without that necessity, if they're double vaccinated, to quarantine, so the risk will go up. So you've got 11 days before that hits. So you've got the next 11 days to have your first dose of either Pfizer or Moderna, and there's plenty of opportunity to get that in North Queensland, either of those vaccines, both excellent vaccines. And then 3 weeks after Pfizer, have your second dose. 4 weeks after Moderna, have your second dose. And 2 weeks after that, you're fully covered, you're protected. And that's what every single Queenslander 12 years of age or older needs to do in the next 11 days if you haven't already done it. That's critical, because although you've got a fantastic health service here throughout North Queensland, but particularly here in Townsville, your hospital and health service is second to none. But even they will struggle if you remain at the rates you are at the moment. You've got to aim for every single 12-year-old and older, because some of them are going to get infected, and we'll send that on, we'll pass it on, we'll infect other people. So that's why you've all got to be protected to protect yourself, because you can still get infected, you can still get sick, but it will be a very mild illness for the vast, vast majority. So just come out next 11 days. We've got a great facility here. You can see it for ages around. So just come forward wherever it suits you, to a pharmacy or a GP or one of our clinics. And remember, it doesn't matter which you choose. They've all got Pfizer or Moderna, and they're all free. So whatever is suitable, whatever you can easily access. Thank you.
Well, North Queenslanders are amongst the toughest and most battle-hardened people in this country. That's because they live with, they prepare for, and are ready for natural disasters like cyclones and storms. They listen to the advice and they act on the advice. They take the precautions. They heed that advice. And of course, they look after themselves, and they don't do anything to harm anyone else when the cyclone is brewing. And make no mistake, if we don't get vaccination rates up, then the risk is the Delta variant in particular of COVID-19 will be a storm that hits the north of our state. Delta has the potential to be a Category 5, but it will be Yasi without the cyclone siren. It'll be a monsoon weather event without the rain. It will sneak into the community, and it has the potential to hit, and to hit hard. So the single biggest way to prepare for this storm is to get vaccinated. And this community has done so many good things to assist in our state's economic recovery, whether it be mining, agriculture, tourism, the general services economy up here, manufacturing, you name it. Townsville delivers it for Queensland. And it's created jobs, record dwelling approvals in the north of our state. Townsville's done a fantastic job. We don't want to lose any of those gains. We don't want to lose any of that hard work. So now is the time to get ready, and the way to get ready is to get vaccinated.
Well, thank you very much, Premier and Treasurer and the Chief Health Officer, for being in Townsville to help us ram home the message. Get vaccinated. Don't wait. Vaccinate. That's the actual key. Our best defence against this virus, COVID-19, the Delta variant, is to have and for everyone to be vaccinated. Now in Thurringau, I'm looking forward to the pop-up clinic being there at Riverway over the weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing more people turn up to Alive Chemists at Willows, to Strive Health in Kerwin. They have plenty of stock. My own teenage children walked into a live chemist weeks ago. No waiting, no cost, and got the Moderna vaccine. Just, I can't emphasise enough of just how important this is, because I don't want to see people in our community get sick and be unwell. I don't want to see people of Palm Island become sick and get unwell. The same as Charters Towers. We all need to lift our game. This is the North Queensland spirit. We're calling on you to do the right thing. Get vaccinated.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you to the Premier, the Chief Health Officer and the Treasurer. Look, as a member for Munningborough, I'm very fortunate to have 4 pop-ups in my seat, and yesterday we had the Pimlico TAFE College. But the Treasurer said it well. We are normally proactive and prepared for any disaster. This is a disaster that you will not see coming if you're not prepared. And the message is very, very clear. Get vaccinated or you will become sick during a major disaster and you will have nowhere to go for help. Get ahead of the game, and I want this community to do a Steve Bradbury, and that is to finish late and get the gold medal. We do not want to be sitting in the audience watching everybody else get the medals. We do it well. We are the smartest part of the state when it comes to disaster management, and the message is very clear, and we can't say it enough, but please get vaccinated, love your family, do it for yourself, do it for your friends, and do it for the business and the tourism market here in Townsville.
The disaster season's upon us, and many of you know that, as we've heard from the Premier, all the local members, the Treasurer and the CHO, we really need to get vaccinated. And I keep calling out to the Townsville community, but I'll throw this out to Eyre, to Charters Towers and Palm Island. We live in a cyclone area. You don't want to be unvaccinated in the middle of a disaster. You don't want to have to compete to get a bed in a hospital because it's full of people with COVID. This is the problems they're having in Victoria. It's the same problem they've had in New South Wales. You put a natural disaster event on top of that and everyone will be struggling. There's no question of that. So, as Molly Meldrum once said, do yourself a favour, get vaccinated.
Can we just take some quick questions? I think businesses will make up their own minds. I mean, it's very clear that when we get to 80% double vaccinated and people are coming into Queensland, they will make up their own minds about what they want to do to protect their customers.
And in terms of people sitting at home who might be wondering whether they should get vaccinated, can you tell them what freedoms they could potentially miss out on if they don't go and get the jab?
Well, I'm just urging everyone to get vaccinated because it fundamentally comes down to a health issue. It's a very personal and deep health issue because COVID is here. It is within our world and it will prevent you from getting serious disease and prevent you from ending up in hospital. So, like I said, there is an opportunity now, a golden opportunity for Queenslanders to go and get vaccinated. Now, we're seeing down the southern states, they've had the rapid spread of Delta and they're out there getting vaccinated and their rates are getting up really high. New South Wales, over 90%, ACT, over 90%. And as I said yesterday, and I'll keep saying it, we have the potential to have Australia to be one of the most vaccinated countries in the world. But that's now depending on each and every one of us. I'm very comfortable with the vaccination rates in Brisbane. At the moment, they're over 80%. But I don't want to see our regions left behind. This is a race. This is a race for our regions to match what's happening in Brisbane, lift our vaccination rate so you can reunite with family and friends for the Christmas season.
For those people that's not enough, is there any freedoms specifically that they might miss out on?
Well, they'll miss out. I think the airlines are saying you have to be fully vaccinated. To come back into Queensland, you need to be fully vaccinated, otherwise you have to go into quarantine. I mean, these are going to be really important issues for people going forward. And like I said, in other states, you have to be fully vaccinated to go to a cafe, a bar or a restaurant. So businesses will make their own decisions. And I urge the young people, there seems to be some hesitancy from our young people aged 20 to 39. I was in Maryborough today. I spoke to a young woman getting vaccinated. And, you know, she said initially she thought it was going to be painful. It is not painful. I've been double vaccinated. It's not painful, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't take much time, and you're protecting yourself and your family, and if you've got grandparents or elderly parents, you're actually protecting them as well.
Is the roadmap set in stone for quarantine requirements for things like international travel?
I addressed that clearly yesterday, and I said it is set in stone.
We're on the trains this morning. I like a great announcement. How many do you actually expect to be online by the Olympics? How many will there be?
My understanding is that all of them will be online for the Olympics.
Premier, we spoke to the Mayor of Charles Towers.
Yes.
He was quite surprised by the December deadline. Considering there's no permanent vaccination clinic in the town, should there have been more consultation and maybe Australia should have put in a permanent pop-up clinic?
Look, that's a very good question, but there's GPs and there's pharmacies that are available now for people to go and get their vaccine. So they should be talking to their local GP, talking to their local pharmacists to get their vaccine.
Premier, North Queensland Indigenous population is probably one of the worst vaccination rates. Do you have a plan to help improve that rate and encourage Indigenous Australians to get their vaccination?
Yeah, as I said, I've got ministers across the length and breadth of Queensland. I've got ministers as we speak in remote, discrete communities, and we are urging communities to get vaccinated. It is really, really important that we lift those levels of, and it's got to be a joint effort with the Commonwealth here as well. I mean, we're all in this together, so it's the councils, the state and the federal government all working together to lift these rates.
The federal government has put in a scheme about people who've suffered harm or adverse reactions to the vaccine. They've put in a compensation scheme. Do you think that will help ease some people's minds about coming?
I might get Dr. Young to address that. Any other questions for me?
Oh, yes, in Palm Island, their telecommunications are coming from the Northern Territory, not Queensland, so they're actually getting Northern Territory's COVID and public health messages, with Palm Island's vaccination rate sitting around 30%, and, you know, urgently wanting
Yeah,
to...
I'll check that, but my understanding is that we've actually sent people into Palm Island, so from Queensland Health, but I'll get Dr. Young to address that one. Yeah.
Is there a plan for booster shots given waning immunity is a problem that's been identified in the UK as they've had their vaccination?
Yeah, Dr. Young can address that as well, but we actually, you might have saw today, I just caught it on my phone, that the Federal Health Minister has said that they are prioritising the booster shots for aged care residents, because don't forget the vaccine rollout started around early February, March, but of course there will be a need for booster shots, and that is is part of the national plan, and the federal government will be rolling out that booster shot program.
The vaccination rates in the Burdekin and Charles Towers are really low.
Yeah, they're not where I would like them to be.
Are you planning to visit that region to encourage people as well?
Yep, there's a lot of places across Queensland. Unfortunately, I can't get to everywhere. I would love to go and visit every small town, but my time is limited. But what I'm doing here today is really encouraging families right across the region to come and get vaccinated. But I've had ministers out and about this week, and I also would encourage all of the local members, so, you know, cross parties, to get out and support this vaccination campaign. We're all in this together.
Is there a time frame for barriers at the border? Is there a time frame when they might come down?
We're expecting that at the 90% mark, and, you know, look, I think Queensland can get there. So come on, Queensland, come on, get out and get vaccinated.
Okay, last one.
Mark Holden Mayor Sean Dillon raised concerns about the vaccination rollout in his community, and now he's facing an allegation for potential misconduct by the Office of Independent Assessor. Does this concern you?
Look, I think it's a bit of a storm in a teacup. I don't think what he said was unusual. I think it's a bit ridiculous, but that's a matter for the independent assessor. But, you know, those comments I think were made earlier this year, and they've had great vaccination rates out there. And the Mayor, Sean, I know him, he's done a great job. So, and well done to Barcaldine and Longreach and all of those communities out there for really lifting their vaccination rates.
Right.
Okay, just Dr. Young might just address a couple of those issues, if that's all right with everyone.
Thank you very much, Premier. Yes, so booster shots, they're very, very important. We've already started in Queensland last week, boosting those people who have high levels of immunocompromised diseases, illness, very unwell. So there's 100,000 of them, so they're already starting. Then, as you've just heard from the the Premier, the next big group that we're really concerned about are those who were vaccinated very early on, and coincidentally, of course, they're the most vulnerable, so they'll be getting third doses. And then we're waiting for that full ATAGI advice, the Australian Technical Advisory Group on Immunisation, that briefs the Commonwealth Government about booster shots for everyone, because we're seeing from overseas that it looks like people actually do need 3 doses to get that full immunity, and that probably will last several years. So we're just waiting for that formal advice as to what we do, but we're ready to go. We've got centres like this one that can easily double their capacity, so we can rapidly roll out those booster shots as soon as we get the go-ahead. There's no concern there at all.
Do you think that the populations that have had AstraZeneca might be forward, as we've seen in the UK, they've primarily had AstraZeneca, so those in Australia might have the booster?
Yeah, so a lot of the earlier people had AstraZeneca because that's the vaccine that was available, so they'll be getting an mRNA vaccine earlier than others. So it doesn't matter which one they get, whether it's Pfizer or Moderna. So I'm sure that will be happening.
Are you confident that hospitals will be able to cope with the current system of unvaccinated people considering the pandemic right now? And is there any consideration how vaccinated and unvaccinated patients would be prioritised?
There is absolutely no consideration about vaccinated and unvaccinated. We don't do that, which, much as I'd like to, with smokers, for instance. Of course we don't. We're health professionals, we're doctors, and we treat everyone who turns up needing care, and that will continue. Of course it will. But I would put to all of you that if you want the most functional hospital you can possibly have in your community, so you don't have to delay any non-urgent care, such as surgery or outpatients, then get vaccinated. Because I've seen the data, and here in North Queensland, if you all get vaccinated, you'll be able to do that within normal business. You'll be able to manage it. If you don't, if you stay at that 50% level that some communities are at, or even 60 or even 70, then there are going to be tough decisions that your health service will have to make about prioritising non-elective work and COVID. So don't bring that on your own community, your own families. Just get vaccinated, and then those tough decisions won't need to be made.
Would you consider
The federal government, of course, looks at those schemes, and they're responsible for that. So we also have the NDIS. We have a lot of ways of protecting vulnerable people, no matter what the cause is. So that, of course, is something that the Commonwealth Government will have looked at and will make decisions about. I think anyone who is at harm of anything, it doesn't matter whether it's on the road, it doesn't matter where it is, needs to have that fallback so that they're protected.
Would you consider recommending further lockdowns in North Queensland if we can't get at that vaccination rate up when the border opens?
I desperately hope it won't happen, but of course if you've got a community with very low vaccination rates, then maybe one of the only strategies while people get vaccinated is to recommend to the Premier that there needs to be a lockdown in that community. That's what had to happen in New South Wales and Victoria. And as a result, people came out in their droves to get vaccinated so that they could get out of lockdown. And it's been very, very successful. But I think we're smarter than that in Queensland. We don't need that to happen. We can get vaccinated so we don't need the lockdowns. Thank you.